Your Golden State Warriors are turning into the Dallas Cowboys. An unbelievable report just came out from Sam Amck of The Athletic that the Warriors are scared that Jonathan Kuminga will become an all-star if they trade him to the Sacramento Kings. This joke just keeps getting bigger and bigger by the day. Later on in today's edition of Warriors Today by Chat Sports, we'll talk about Aaron Turner's comments as he went on the Hoop Collective, went on a couple of media tours here, as it doesn't look like the Golden State Warriors are budging on their offers with JK right now, so we'll discuss what Turner had to say. But let's just start with the Sam Amck quote where he said, "A small factor that has kept Golden State hesitant to send Kuminga to the Kings partly is due to their fear of the 22-year-old breaking out in California's state capital." This is embarrassing. I mean, every day I am more embarrassed by this story with Jonathan Kuminga and the Golden State Warriors. I mean, think about it. Joe Lacob is essentially acting as if this is the Chicago Bulls toward the tail end of Michael Jordan's career. And a lot of people are blinded to the fact that, Joe Lacob made all these moves, 4 rings under him. And now it's unraveling when he really has to go out there and evaluate basketball talent. It is absurd. We're going to have more on this in just a moment. Want to make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, though. We've been chronicling this Jonathan Kuminga free agency saga like nobody else. And we are almost at our next milestone of 98,000 subscribers. Can we get there by training camp? It's about 2 weeks away, less than 200 subs to get there. If you want free, informative Warriors content on YouTube every day, this is the place for you. Hit that sub button. Alrighty. This is getting a little bit ridiculous. More from Amick here. Joe Lacob is eternally in love with Jonathan Kuminga. There is a sense from some people involved that there is a real reluctance to not only to finally quit him, if you will, but to see him go up the road to another NorCal NBA team that's run by a guy in Vivek Ranadivé who used to be with the Warriors. And what if Kuminga blows up and becomes a total star? From a personal ownership dynamic level, there are some folks that feel like that could be playing a small part. Again, that's not really relevant because there are other things that are the real obstacles. But I mean, Joe, like a lot of owners, is very involved too. Joe Lacob is brainwashing his own employees. If it's not just him, then there are some other people now that are in the Warriors building that truly believe that if they trade Jonathan Kuminga away to the Kings, he's going to become an all-star and make them regret the move for years to come. I just don't think this is the case. Look, I think it comes down to this. If you are this afraid about Jonathan Kuminga becoming an all-star if you trade him to a division rival, then that says a lot about the confidence in your front office, in their ability to go out there and build a contender after dealing away Jonathan Kuminga. Who's to say that he's going to be an all-star, by the way? Like what has signaled that through his NBA career so far? I know the minutes load, the role has been inconsistent with Jonathan Kuminga. I would argue that the role has been more unwanted by Jonathan Kuminga. There has been a role set in front of him. He has just not gone out there and accepted it. And, over the past 4 seasons of his NBA career, I just don't see all-star. I'm sorry. I just don't. He's not a floor spacer. He's not a bought-in defender. And, if you're neither one of those two things, how successful can you really be in the NBA? He's a mid-range shooter who can't shoot. And, when you want to talk about paydays and what gets you paid in this league, it's winning basketball games and being a contributor to winning. And Jonathan Kuminga just doesn't do that. As a matter of fact, for all those Warriors fans to say, oh, he just needs a bigger role, he just needs more minutes and all this stuff. Well, guess what? The Warriors don't win when Jonathan Kuminga gets big minutes in basketball games. He's not a winner. Last year in the regular season, the Warriors were 5-13 when Jonathan Kuminga played more than 27.5 minutes. And maybe that's a cherry-pick number, but that's about starting level minutes load, right? 28 minutes a night. That seems like a pretty established spot in Steve Kerr's rotation here. The Warriors were 5-13 in those games. Oh, and then the postseason rolls around, and any game that he played more than 16 minutes, the Warriors were 0-5. So, why are we letting this guy ruin the offseason? You want another stat? Oh yeah, here's this. You think he doesn't get enough of a role in Golden State when he is on the floor? Oh yeah. Oh, here's this. Jonathan Kuminga finished the season just behind Steph Curry in usage rate on the Warriors. Oh, but he finished 10th in effective plus minus. He doesn't make the Warriors better. He was a part of the worst Warriors lineups in games 4 and 5 of the Timberwolves series. The only game where Jonathan Kuminga, or the Warriors were a net positive on the basketball court with Kuminga, was game 3. The only game they won in that series was the game that Steph played, and that was only for 12 minutes. What are we doing here? I just don't see it, guys. What do you think? Will Jonathan Kuminga be an all-star in his career? There's more important stuff that we have to get to on today's show because a bunch of updates really just came out on Kuminga. Why for yes and for no? Will he be an all-star in his career? You guys be the judge. Now we got to get to like the meat and potatoes of this video. Aaron Turner went on a little bit of a media tour. We're mostly going to talk about his quotes here to the Hoop Collective over at ESPN. Brian Windhorst, Tim Bontemps, and Tim McMahon. They run a podcast over there. It's good stuff. And Aaron Turner has basically sounding off on the entire situation and what has to get done for this to get over the mountaintop. He said this to the Hoop Collective. If the Warriors want to win now, this is just a ridiculous quote. If the Warriors want to win now, if you want a guy that's happy and treated fairly, who's a big part of this team, we believe, moving forward, you give him the player option. What? You do lose a little of the trade value giving that up, but if it's about the here and now, you give him that. You don't get a perfect deal, but you get a pretty good deal, and he gets to feel respected about what he gets, and we all move on and worry about winning, helping Steph. What? So the only way that Jonathan Kuminga is going to play nice and buy in and contribute to this team is if he gets a player option? This is a child. This is a child running his NBA free agency. And to be frank with you, Aaron Turner's not helping the situation either. He's probably feeding his client bad information. Jonathan Kuminga, at the end of the day, is just a 22-year-old kid. It's malpractice by everybody involved. Not only Joe Lacob of the Warriors, who we have been kind of ragging on this past week, but Aaron Turner's back with the clown nose again. My goodness, this guy doesn't know how to navigate the situation at all. You know what you should have told your client instead of propping him up and thinking that he's this multi-time all-star level player? You probably should have told him that he should have bought in to the role that was asked of him by Steve Kerr and the coaching staff in Golden State, and we would have been paid already. This summer would have never happened. Jonathan Kuminga would have been paid last offseason if he just bought in. But now he's only going to buy in and play nice if he gets a player option? Yeah, that's not flying. And judging by his agent going on all these shows and this media tour, it doesn't seem like the Warriors are budging on that player option either. I will say, you can't let Kuminga sign the qualifying offer, so something does need to change, whether that's a player option or something else. I don't necessarily disagree with Turner here in that you need to make something kind of happen in the middle for Kuminga, not only for the team's sake on the basketball court to at least start the season, but when you want to trade him down the line, like you cannot afford for him to be playing on an $8 million contract that has a no trade clause. So get something done. I don't know if that's fully guaranteeing a player option though. And look, now this information is out in the public now. Jonathan Kuminga is only incentivized by a contract that has been given to him by the Golden State Warriors, and that's just going to create even more awkwardness on the court and in the media as well, post-game and whatnot. More from Turner here. If JK wants to take the qualifying offer, which we know he's threatening, it does have upside, right? Shut up, Aaron Turner. We've talked about that. You're not getting traded. You're going to have unrestricted free agency next summer. People are going to say, well, Aaron, there's not going to be 10 or 12 teams with cap space. Fine. There will be 6 teams with cap space for the clear-cut under 35 top wing on the market. So there is a lot of upside. Look, I can't disagree. The free agency pool next summer, outside of LeBron James, is pretty weak on the wing there. So you aren't going to get much better under the age of 35 than Jonathan Kuminga on the open market next summer. Doesn't mean you should pay him a boatload of your money. Doesn't mean just because supply is low that demand needs to be through the roof on a player that you could end up damaging your franchise with, because he's just not that good at the end of the day. However, Kuminga's camp, they're not really feeling any pressure on this. They see bad teams around the league that are willing to throw a bag at Kuminga. I mean, they seem to have confirmed legitimate interest from other teams around the NBA. The Phoenix Suns, the Sacramento Kings, they've all made confirmed offers to Kuminga at this point. So it doesn't seem like their camp feels much pressure. They can go into the season comfortable on the qualifying offer and still feeling confident that those offers from the Kings, from the Suns, will be there next offseason. Look, I guess according to Aaron Turner, these other teams, the pitches that they're throwing at JK is that they value him as a lead option in their offense. I'm sorry, like if the Golden State Warriors, led by Steph Curry, aren't going to let you have the keys, I just delusion. It is just delusion at the end of the day. We'll talk more from Aaron Turner on Jonathan Kuminga here as he talks a little bit how this thing gets resolved a little bit more in detail in just a moment. But first, get hooked up with some awesome Warriors hats for the fall. Throw a hoodie over the top. This khaki one's dope. This one with the nice throwback design with the mountains and the waves in the back looks pretty dope as well. Get the flat brim. I know that's pretty in right now. And then, as well as the cream color and the colored brim. You can get it in the current logo. You can get it in the throwback logo as well. They're all at this link right here. Some of them are on sale. Chatsports.com/Warriors hats. They're a great gift idea as well. They're chatsports.com/Warriors hats. That link is in the comment section and description of today's video. So if Aaron Turner is aware about anything or correct about anything regarding what he's been saying on this media tour, it's that they do know that the role for Kuminga when he comes back this season is uncertain, that they're not going to have the role that Jonathan Kuminga definitely wants and necessarily the role that's going to get him paid next offseason. But here's what Turner had to say on that. He doesn't guarantee, no guarantees he starts any games. He may, but we don't know. Finishing games night to night, who knows? It depends if Coach Kerr has a combination he likes and it's working. Maybe he sticks with it. Maybe he doesn't. You're going to have to not have the ball as much. You're going to have to stay away from developing certain parts of your game or wanting to lean into certain parts of your game, especially shooting any type of mid-range jump shots, which is something JK does work on. But in the Golden State offense and the role he's in, that's not going to be a big shot that he's really going to be able to take much. Yeah? Well, I wonder why. Because guess what? Kevin Durant took a damn load of mid-range shots during his time at Golden State. Want to know why? Because he made them. Jonathan Kuminga doesn't make them. There's a reason that Steve Kerr doesn't let Jonathan Kuminga do his thing. Go be Jonathan Kuminga. No! Because he's terrible at it. Look at this. I mean, this is utterly ridiculous. I'm going to tell you guys just some statistics, some numbers here. Yeah, the league average is 40-something% there in the mid-range. Yeah, Jonathan Kuminga shoots less than 30-something%. Within 10 feet, he shoots 39% from the field. Utterly ridiculous. Oh, you want to see it in a more detailed sense? Here, look at this one. Roll adjusted, zone adjusted, all this stuff. Hey, this guy's shooting 0% from the left elbow. He's shooting 25% from the right elbow. He's shooting 12% from above the free throw line. I mean, my God. He's shooting less than 40% from just inside the paint. It's utterly ridiculous. And the fact that this guy is using this as a calling card for his game, something that is a marquee advertisement of the basketball player that Jonathan Kuminga is, it's utterly ridiculous. I'll get off my soapbox for a little bit. Look, there are some things that I agree with Aaron Turner on. There are. But most of them are I'm not a fan of. Like, the thing that Jonathan Kuminga could be a multi-time All-Star. And look, he's your client. You have to do that kind of thing. But, only being incentivized by the contract. Like, that's not fun either. So, like, look, the only thing I kind of agree on with Turner here is that, one, they don't know the role for JK. And two, something's got to get done quick. And the qualifying offer isn't the answer, even though they feel comfortable taking it. Here's what Turner had to say closing out for that Hoop Collective podcast. 2 years from now, if you want to keep him, you'll have his bird rights, even if you give him a player option. You treat him good and you show him the plan, then maybe you keep him. The player option contract is not perfect, but I don't think anybody can get everything they really want. If you ask JK, he wants Jalen Green's deal, $30 million a year. He's not getting that. He wants Jalen Johnson's deal, $30+ million a year. You're not getting that. If the Warriors, we feel like, pick up the front end of the contract, or pick the front end of the contract, if that number needs to be lower to stay under a second apron, it's a player option. Or if it's really about controlling the back end of the deal, move the number up, shake your roster up, and you can have a team option. Or the hybrid model, let him keep his no-trade clause. None of that is happening because it seems to me like the Warriors have a plan. There's interest reportedly in Trey Murphy, and I think that that's probably the primary target that they would be looking at in a Jonathan Kuminga trade. Who knows if that's confirmed, but there's probably a reason that they are not going to budge on giving Jonathan Kuminga a player option here. However, I think that it'll bite them in the butt if they don't budge. I do believe that Jonathan Kuminga is going to take the qualifying offer if they do not move. And it's unfortunate. It's going to ruin your roster construction for the next 2 years, but that just might be the reality of the situation. Both sides eternally stubborn, but Kuminga is going to be able to get the last laugh because he can go out there and make the decision for himself. How does it get resolved? Let me know in the comment section. QO for qualifying offer or type new deal, and let me know what option he ends up going with down in the comment section as well. As that will do it for today's edition of Warriors Today by Chat Sports. Hopefully we covered all the Kuminga updates that have come out over the last couple of days that you need to know. Make sure you are subscribed. We'll see you guys in the next one. And as always, let's go Dubs.